Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. I'm Peter Martin, delighted to have your company on this Tuesday evening. Alan Ruff and Hugh MacDonald of the Daily Mail are here to discuss most of the emerging stories today. More than a few good topics to get our teeth into. You can interact with us as well on YouTube, Facebook, and of course Twitter as well. This weekend we've had some interesting games, and then we've had some interesting comments from managers and players alike, and I'm sure it'll all come to the boil tomorrow night. Here's the fixtures on offer in the Premiership on Wednesday evening to look forward to. Aberdeen against Rangers, undoubtedly game of the evening. Celtic against Hibs, Dundee, Kilmarnock, Hamilton against St Johnstone, Hearts against Livingston, and St Mirren against Motherwell. That's what's on offer. And just ahead of that, obviously the managers like to go through their pre-match press conference to give us their thoughts ahead of the game. But Steven Gerrard didn't miss it today, and he certainly had a pop back at Steve Clarke over his comments regarding the Rangers player Jermaine Defoe.
I was very surprised by Steve's comments. First and foremost, because it's got absolutely nothing to do with Steve Clarke or Kilmarnock. We didn't punish Jordan Jones. We didn't give the Kilmarnock player the 2-game ban. So why he's trying to get one of my players banned is a surprise and a disappointment, because that's not what type of guy I know Steve Clarke for. He's usually class, first class. The dealings I've had with him as a player when he used to coach me, and since I've been at Rangers. So very surprised at his comments, and I don't think there's any need for them at all. There was a game we played against him recently which was a blatant red card on Ryan Jack, and I never mentioned it in the press out of respect for Steve Clarke and Kilmarnock. So it's very disappointing and surprising to me that he's trying to get my player a 2-game ban. The two situations are completely different. Jordan Jones is a yard away from the opponent, dives and buries his head in shame in the turf because he's embarrassed over it. There's small contact on Jermaine. None of my players appealed for a penalty. None of my players give the penalty. So why should Jermaine Defoe be banned? The referee made the decision. Nothing to do with Rangers, nothing to do with the Rangers players. Jermaine tried to bounce back up, didn't appeal for a penalty. They're two completely different situations.
Well, does Steven Gerrard have a point, Hugh MacDonald? Is it a different situation here, or has maybe Steven Gerrard missed the point on what Steve Clarke was trying to get across?
Yeah, I think Clarke, rather than getting a Rangers player retrospectively banned, was just talking about consistency in general, Peter. He brought up the other issue of, the yellow cards at McDermott Park for celebrating with the crowd, one given to Forrest, one not given to Timothy Weah. He also, I think the most crucial one, and understand why the press will go for that story today, Rangers manager hammering back at Kilmarnock manager, back pages all round.
Yeah.
But the interesting one, I think, when he was talking about an assistant linesman not given an offside, and he said it wasn't significant in the game, but will that linesman ever be told he got it wrong? Is there a process of judging where the officials have gone wrong and demanding consistency? But it's marvellous stuff for the. I mean, it's spread a bit of petrol on the ground, light match, throw and walk away.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great for us when you get a situation where there's a tit for tat. Barney on this one. Steve Clarke also, I think, cranked it up on the compliance officer Claire White saying, "Do your job." If Jordan Jones is getting banned, Jermaine Defoe, this is what's kicked this all off. The SFA have subsequently said today there's insufficient evidence to find Jermaine Defoe guilty of any sort of dive trying to con the referee. Now, this is where I agree with Stephen Gerrard on it, Ruffy, because I think it's two separate incidents. I think there was deceit on the part of Jordan Jones to try and fool the referee, but I actually think Jermaine Defoe tried to get up, didn't appeal for a penalty, wasn't looking for it.
I think everybody will have a different opinion of it. I think initially.
Well, do you have a different one from me?
Yeah, no, I think initially Defoe, as Stephen Gerrard said, there was contact, and I think he went to go down, and him being a really experienced player went, this isn't good enough for a penalty. I better get up here and I'm going to be caught for diving, and he made an attempt to get back up.
Yeah.
I think initially he went to go down.
Is this this is what they call in the classic court case, is this supposition that you think you know what Jermaine Defoe was thinking?
I thought Defoe actually stubbed his foot, as I see a lot of players doing that, to make the contact, make as if you're going to get down. He's the only one that can answer it. I agree he did get up and he got on with it. It's completely different for Jones. Jones went for it, it was a full-blooded, dive when he went down. But
do you think the SFA have got it wrong then? Do you think they should have given him a 2-game ban as Steve Clark was calling for?
I don't think it was a dive. I don't think
you could have banned
to get back to Hugh's point there, obviously it being in the games now and going to the games in the sitting in the director's box, there is a supervisor in every game. There's a supervisor sits every game and marks the referee nothing in 90 minutes. So there is a thorough, you don't get off with it. I mean, the thought of, because he's made a mistake here, there's a mark will go on to that board for that referee or linesman, and it will catch up with them eventually. So they're not getting off scot-free.
Okay, he's had a pop back at him, not too far away from a Kilmarnock Rangers game coming up, may I add, which is just
coincidentally,
it's just nicely timed. But can I then throw something to you, Hugh, that I think is in the aftermath of the summit, which I think has fallen on deaf ears in so many camps, because no sooner did Neil Lennon chair this meeting on behalf of the managers, and Ian Maxwell was there, and obviously the great and the good and the referees like Andrew Dallas who attended that event. They get together, they chat, they try and understand each other's position, they communicate with each other, and then we're 2 weeks after it, and they are slaughtering each other. Now, I think this is going to have a negative effect on referees.
Yeah, I agree, but I think the whole summit, and we weren't talking in hindsight, the whole summit was a pile of nonsense. I mean, the only thing, everybody's going to the summit, or we'll have to make relationships better, or we have to make the referees better, or you should be better than this, or well, you shouldn't be shouting as much as that. And what are you going to do to change it? Did anybody come up with any ideas of how we could change this? I mean, it's undoubtedly the case that there's a real problem with refereeing in Scotland.
The quality of it.
There's undoubted. We're seeing really, really bad decisions. We know that. So how do we improve that? Now, there's certain ways of improving it, and we could have another programme on this, but I would suggest very, very quickly, we can bring in more technology, we could have full-time referees, yes, we could have independent assessment of referees, which would take away this thing that it's their pals assessing pals, etc. But all these things would cost money. So if you go to clubs and say to them, right, we can have much better refereeing with bringing in X, Y and Z, but it's all going to cost you all per head 100 grand a year. Not do it. 100 grand a year is two players for Motherwell. Maybe 3 players for Inverness.
Well, dare I suggest to you, Hugh, that they're actually at this point, sitting down, chatting, and working out how to finance VAR. Mm-hmm. I think for me, we're talking about percentages here. We're talking about trying to reduce the percentage of mistakes. They will still make mistakes and might not even go to VAR when they should do, but I think we've got to accelerate the process of getting the money for this, or we're going down this road where I think referees, Hugh, will look at this and say, if you constantly criticise us, and everybody's tarred with the same brush, there has to be a breaking point.
I don't know if there will be a breaking point. What we've got to remember is that referees are, strong characters. They have to be to get to that level. The other thing as well is the amount of wages referees are getting, especially the 7 FIFA referees. It's very substantial, Peter. They'll be on a part on a Saturday, and many of these, on Wednesday night, many of these games that we looked at, the referee will be the best paid person on the park. Yeah,
there was suggestions before. They've done it before, threatened to strike, Ruffy.
Yeah, and I think it's the personal attack. I think most of them can handle And I'd like to think they're honest enough that they have made a mistake. When they go away for the game, they'll say, I made a mistake. But the Celtic assistant was talking about them being full-time would make it better. Klopp last night was slaughtering the referee he had, and he's full-time.
Yeah, okay, it's one of those ones that will rage on. We'll probably talk about it after the break as well. You can give us your thoughts on referees too. Have we just got a bad bunch of referees, or are there some good ones in there, or they maybe just need to improve the overall standard? There's lots more to come on this, and of course, predictions on tomorrow's games. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. Alan Ruff and Hugh MacDonald here with me. One player who's actually leaving Scottish football, finally, Carlos Pena, terminated his contract. That was a huge amount of money he was taking out of the club for very little in return.
And you've got to look and think that he's probably taking a lot of money out of the club today as well. I mean, it looks as if I'm not prior to any inside information, but it would seem to me they would have to make a payment to him to go. The thing that really gets me with that is that you think when such sums of money are paid out to players and coming to Scotland, that some kind of due diligence would have been done on Carlos Pena, and you just have to go to his wiki page and see the fact that he'd been on loan 6 or 7 times before to come to Rangers, and to think, there's something not quite right here. Yeah. So, but it's an end, and I hope for his sake that we know he's got issues, and we hope these are resolved. But an absolutely really sorry episode for Rangers.
Yeah, and I think I speak for everyone on the show and right across the Peter and Ruffy Football Show, especially Ruffy and myself. We will try and support Hugh MacDonald at every opportunity. Who goes to Carlos Pena's wiki page in the first place? Who's got that much time? Who's got to the point where they think, I'll go to Carlos Pena's wiki page. Anyway,
you would think that some diligence would have been done if you're putting an outlay of tens and tens of thousands a week. Yeah. You think somebody's and Caixinha, of course, was au fait with the Mexican market as well. He was just an extraordinary decision, just a waste of money.
Well, we did say on this show it was a waste of money for the manager as well at the time, so we've been consistent throughout it all. Now it's the Steven Gerrard era. They're going up to Pittodrie. Derek McInnes, I think, right to point out today, Ruffy has said, Aberdeen were so pleased to be in the mix when you consider the squad that Rangers have, the money that they've thrown at it, and the fact that our budget is dwarfed, in comparison with Rangers. So he's pleased that Aberdeen have a chance, basically, to continue their good record this season. 2 wins and a draw so far in Aberdeen's favour. Yeah,
in comparison to what happened the year before when Aberdeen were going particularly well and chasing Celtic, and then they had Rangers for 3 games in a week, and Rangers won every one of them. And there was obviously circumstances behind the Aberdeen defeats, but this year they've actually come up with the goods. They've got now a confident run of good results against Rangers, and that's why, with the game being up at Pittodrie, I would think Derek would expect to win that game.
Yeah, do you expect them to win?
No, I don't think they will. I think Rangers are playing particularly well. I think it's got a draw written all over it, and I'm sure Aberdeen will be disappointed if that's the way it turns out.
Yeah, okay, it's all a game about opinion. I don't think Rangers are playing particularly well. Neither does the manager. I think Aberdeen could get a point, Hugh.
I think they could get a point, no problem at all. I mean, the interesting thing about Aberdeen is that the big problem that they had was they were very good, they seemed to be very good defensively, strong in midfield, but they weren't scoring goals. Now they've got Cosgrove scoring, they've got goals coming from midfield in the shape of Ferguson, they've got... The defence is strong. I know McKenna's injured, but the defence is generally strong. So Aberdeen will be, what the old cliche, a positive result. Aberdeen, I think, will be looking to win tomorrow night. I love the Derek stuff, but, when he talks about budgets and that, he never talks about budgets when Motherwell are parting them out of cups. But that's the way they should be.
Well, that's what managers are like,
isn't it? It's great.
Hey, if you put a spin on it.
Aye, he's quite right to do so because it cranks it up. But I think the great thing about Scottish football we know is that every day we've either got a reaction to the weekend, and I look forward, and then a big lump of absolute juicy fixtures. And I mean, every game, Aberdeen, you were right to say Aberdeen Rangers is the standout game. But you go down that list, every game's got something in it as well. It's a tremendous season.
Yeah, it is actually, and I think everybody's looking at the league, and I don't think there's too many murmurings about the size of it at the moment. Maybe at the bottom end, once it gets to the cut and thrust of April, some clubs will start to moan about it. As far as the other match, Celtic against Hibernian, we're now hearing another name. Paul Heckingbottom suddenly comes out of left field as a man that Hibs have been looking at to talk to Ruffy as a potential replacement for Neil Lennon.
Yeah, it's more than left field for me because I've never heard of the guy at all.
So you're not even on Wiki either?
You haven't even looked on his page?
I'm still on the Pena page, I can't go off it. No, I mean, obviously there's going to be loads and loads of names, and it'll be interesting to see what Hibs think the criteria is for the next manager, because they certainly have just lost a good one. They've lost a good one that the fans bought into, and there's not many managers out there that fans buy into, so he'll have to be a bit special. Yeah,
well, I heard that classic line. He's a former Leeds and Barnsley manager, and he likes to work with the youth and develop there. I've no qualms with that, but Hibs can get ready for the next couple of years of not being where Lennon had them.
No, and I think the thing about it is you'll probably find that the job specs for this will be a head coach, reporting to the chief executive, who reports to the board. And I think that is the way that Hibs are going to go here.
Okay, Celtic will be hoping to maintain their 6-point advantage. Of course, Oliver Burke was out there sporting one of those those T-shirts that I don't think Ruffy or myself would get away with, and not even Hugh would get away with it, but Oliver Burke just mentioned to all and sundry that there's more than a few good players with a good standard at Celtic that could easily cut it in the English Premier League, and he also mentioned the fact that he would be keen to stay on further.
I'm really enjoying myself, really happy. Feel like I've got in with the team really well since Dubai, and knowing a lot of the players already has really helped. And I'm really happy here, and I'm enjoying my football, and long may it continue. The standard here is no different. I think maybe just as good. The standard of players and the quality within the team is amazing. I wasn't surprised really. I already knew that the Scottish standard of football was already good. I think it's a little bit out of my hands, but if I'm happy here and I'm enjoying myself, I mean, any player would love to stay here at such a big club, and great teammates and great manager around me and staff. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, get the chequebook out if you want to try and keep him at Celtic.
Yeah, I would surmise he's on a big wage packet, and obviously he costs 12 million, so I can't see the club that he's with are going to take even 50% of that. I don't think he's 50%. He's not showed anybody he's worth half of that money yet, so it'll be interesting, to see if the club he's with just want to wipe him off the books, and if Celtic do want him. Yeah,
okay. Rather than waste any time on this and go through a long-winded, what I call cliche, which I can, go back on previous shows and look back over, does anyone think Hibs will take a point or possibly 3? Raise your hand. Okay, that saves a lot of time. Great bit of business coming up. If Craig Levein can manage to keep Arnaud Djum and Stevie Naismith, they've offered them deals, keen to get both players. I think if he gets Naismith in a 2-year deal, anything like that, I think is brilliant. He is, for me, the engine, the heartbeat of that Hearts side.
Yeah, and statistics prove it as well. The statistics of him in the team and him out of the team is black and white. Pierre, my stance in Stephen Naismith. I think he's a class act as a football player and in the dressing room. He's one of these almost Jekyll and Hyde characters that sometimes his attitude on the pitch goes over the top. I think he'd be the first to admit that. But what he gives Hearts on the pitch is English Premier League experience right in the fulcrum of the team, and he does that off the park as well. I think Hearts have got a really good chance of getting them, because I would imagine that Stephen is now contemplating staying in Scotland. I know he's got a home in Sturton, and he loves Sturton, and that's where he wants to retire to. I know his wife as well, Moya. She's a professional. She's a dentist, with her kids getting up, she's probably wanting to settle down and practice. Kids away at school age, it's all there for staying in Scotland, and I think Hearts have got a really good chance again them.
Yeah, and the great news is we've got the entire family tree where they're working, what their professions are. See what you get on Wiki.
Wiki
if you could just actually concentrate on that, Ruffy, you never know what you can learn. Nevertheless, I think it would be a great bit of business for them. For me, Ruffy, Naismith's in top 3 of the players this season in the Premiership in Scotland.
Yeah, as you said there, it was noticeable when he wasn't on the Hearts side, you know, what the results were. And you've seen since he come back, you know, he might not be scoring every week, but certainly people round about him are responding to the level that he plays at.
Yep, it'll be interesting. On tomorrow's show, we'll preview in detail each game. Barry Ferguson will be with us on the programme at 6 o'clock. Hopefully you can join us for that. Also, you can give us your thoughts right across all the topics we've been discussing on a daily basis, Monday to Friday. We will be with you. Thanks very much to Ruffy and also to Hugh MacDonald, who's heading back to find out more about you on Wiki. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.